following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
What's up? Welcome into Talkin Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. Happy Thursday to you. Rob Phillips hosting again for Bill Jones. More TV duty calls for Mr. Bill.
That's where he pays the bills.
That's what pays the bills. We're trying to pay the bills here with Brian Broaddus as usual. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Mickey Spagnola will be joining us momentarily, finishing up his radio hit. Kent Garrison next door, inside the Garrison, producing as usual. And Cowboys back to practice again on a Thursday, getting set for those Philadelphia Eagles.
Interesting practice yesterday. It was a lot like what we'd seen at Oxnard with the jerseys and shorts and no helmets. You know, that's when you get the Monday night game, and Jason Garrett very conscious of his team. Coming off that Monday night game, they had a lot of rest, but like we were talking about earlier, they've got a lot of games coming up too. So he has to be very mindful of how he plays this thing. A good teaching session for him yesterday. If you think about a lot of the guys that they've had to kind of move around to trying to help them with some of the injuries that they've had. So guys got an opportunity to kind of catch the breath a little bit and then learn what they need to do to get ready for the game plan for Philadelphia.
It was essentially a walkthrough style practice.
Yeah.
Definitely a slower pace than usual. They weren't in pads as they normally have been
on Wednesdays. Right.
Do you think they go in pads today?
No, I was at the walking past after eating breakfast this morning. I saw the schedule up on the board, and it was shells indoors. So, kind of what we normally see on a Thursday for them. They, like you say, you're right. They traditionally go with the pads on Wednesday, and this will be they're getting back into normal routine today.
Okay. Mickey, welcome.
How are you guys doing today?
Doing well, thanks.
We're doing well. We're just recapping a light practice coming off the Monday night game for Dallas.
Maybe saving, you only get 13 of those padded practice.
That's right.
You have 16 games, so maybe you decided to push a couple padded practice down the way.
Well, we were talking about it, though, too. I don't know when you were adjusting your mic and stuff, though. They've got a lot of games coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know how many padded practices he's going to be able to get to.
A fair point.
Four
games in
he's got
18
Thursday
days.
Games, and maybe he could get back to a padded practice. Well, it'll probably next week. I shouldn't scoff at Mickey's idea.
Well, they're not going to have one, the week of Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So you pick up another one there.
Yeah.
And then maybe when you get to Thursday, you can have one because then you got 9 days off before you play the next game after the New Orleans game.
Any concern, though, if you're trying to evaluate a guard, or have we already been able to evaluate a guard through practices that these guards have not been? One of the guys, Suafilo, who's been part of the team, has not been active for any of the games. Can you get something out of, or do you think they already kind of know what they want to talk about a competition?
Yeah, publicly it seemed like Jason Garrett narrowed it down to, he mentioned Suafilo and Adam Redmond, who is also your primary backup center. Those are the two guys they mentioned. It doesn't seem like they're inclined to change out two spots to fix one. Yeah,
that's what Mickey was talking about yesterday, and I believe he's absolutely right about that.
And how many weeks into the season? This is the 10th week?
Yeah, I put week 11 for some reason in my head, but it's week 10.
Is it 10?
I guess it's week 10.
Yeah, because 4 by...
Ninth game
So anyway, all along, the thought in their mind was Redmond was the backup center guard. So in 2 days, are you going to change that, what your thinking was? They've been going as this idea that Redmond was the backup guard, right?
Yeah, I think so. He was, when I was asking some folks about him, he was the one guy that was practicing last week when the Wednesday practice when Zach Martin couldn't go initially. And then Zach Martin was able to rally for Thursday and Friday. But, it was Redmond that was first. So, I think they'll probably, if my guess is if they had, 5 to 8 plays, maybe 8 plays, that Redmond would have gotten 5 of them and Suafilo 3. Now, maybe that'll flip today. We've seen it before in training camp, where they've put a guy in and said, okay, let's take a look at this guy, and then the next day give the backup the majority of the reps. So we'll see. Maybe Suafilo will be the guy that gets a little bit more work today.
That probably will be telling. Because otherwise, I don't think you're going to say, "Oh, Friday, I'm going to change my mind."
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Suafilo's going to be out there.
Yeah.
So,
and we're talking about the left guard position because Connor Williams, indeed, knee scope. Got a timetable on that? Maybe a couple weeks. Longer.
It looked like it went in. Well, I guess as can be. When
Was it a loose body?
It was a loose piece of cartilage. It was basically the same thing. They did for Randy Gregory.
Yeah, he practiced
and
yesterday
Gregory,
too. Yeah,
was in there, so he did stuff. So what did he miss 2 weeks? He did it during the bye.
Right.
Then he missed the next game.
Couple weeks.
So he missed 2 weeks. So he's kind of on the same schedule. And from what I'm told, and he knowing Connor and how hard he works, then that you give yourself a better chance to get back sooner rather than later. I think other than some other guys.
Quickly looking at that.
You gonna let that one go?
No.
You know what?
I didn't see if you're going to pick up on it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that.
I mean,
my mind was focused on going somewhere else. I missed the implication there.
Yeah, and Gregory got back out there, right? And
I got you.
And they're still,
okay.
They're still a little cloudy on when David Irving will be back.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's still. I don't know if he's still riding his scooter or what.
I'm going to be sitting at the lake one day. I think I told you guys this. I'll be sitting at the lake one day, looking at the crawfish pot, and I'm going to go. Someone's going to ask me, Broadus, who's the best player you've ever seen that didn't do anything? David Irving is going to be my guy. David Irving is going to be the guy that I'm going to go, you know what? Super, super, super talented guy. But he never did anything that, never did it with any consistency.
The Marcus Dupree 30 for 30.
Could very well be.
Not as strong as that. But
no.
Yeah, but his was a little different than David Irving's.
Yeah.
Some of these things have been out of his control. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, he does have a high ankle sprain. That's going to sideline you at least for a couple weeks, I would think. Right?
Yeah.
He had the concussion last year. There are things he's been able to control. Suspension that he had the last 2 seasons. I mean, when he's been healthy and engaged, to me, he's as talented as any player they have on the team.
That's why they've put up with all this.
Yeah, that's why, exactly. I'll be sitting at the crawfish pot, stirring it and talking about it.
At Echo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be fishing. I'll be getting ready to go. Yeah, I'll be on a fishing boat. Somebody will ask me that question.
So they had 8 guys that did not practice yesterday.
Go through those if you would
That's
for me,
where I
Mickey,
was
please.
going. Yeah, who you got?
So Tavon Austin, I think he's still out.
Yep.
Taco Charlton with the shoulder. Ooh. That one a little disconcerting since if they can get Gregory back, it helps out Tyrone Crawford because otherwise he's playing almost every down at that right defensive end spot. David Irving, we mentioned, and I don't think he's back.
Nope.
Anytime, I don't know, maybe Thanksgiving, somewhere in there. Sean Lee, I would think after Thanksgiving, the way it sounds. So
especially with this
you got 4
timetable here.
1, 2, 3.
All these games in a row.
So maybe New Orleans, maybe after New Orleans, and you got 9 more days before you play again.
Be nice to have him back for that Saints game.
Jeff Swain didn't practice, but with the part we saw, he was moving around with a brace on his knee. He was
listed as not practicing?
He was listening to DNP. Did I read it right? Yeah, because limited was Martin, so Swain did not practice, but he looked like he was moving okay.
Well, he was on the field in the media portion, but they weren't doing anything at that point.
Well, they were running those plays, though, the skeleton plays against air, and he was out there, and he looked like, he was running patterns. Joe Thomas is still out. Deontay Thompson has ribs. He only played like 3 plays last week.
Caught a ball down the
2 passes, I think.
He got hit in the back. That might be where they got him.
Maybe that's what happened.
They have a kickoff return as well. It's a rare one that they had. Didn't he have one he brought back out to about the 23-yard line that maybe got whacked then?
And then the other guy was Connor Williams, which we knew about. Randy Gregory was listed as limited. Zach Martin limited, but you'd have to cut Zach's foot off before he had. And then Philadelphia getting a little bit healthier. They're getting Darren Sproles back this week.
Yeah. Although there was a report from Adam Schefter this morning that he tweaked his hamstring in practice yesterday
already
and may not be available for the game now.
Huh.
So
and he's only played 4. I didn't realize.
Did it opening day?
This. Yeah, he's only played 4 games in two years.
Yeah.
But they were all happy that he was going to be back. So maybe that because their running back core is. Wendell Smallwood, Corey Clement, and Josh Adams. Those guys have totaled for 531 yards.
Yeah.
Rushing. I think Zeke's at 680.
Yeah. The one guy that I would worry about is, and they use all three of them, Mickey, and they can't really get any traction with the guys. The guy I really like is the guy they signed off the street after the draft is Josh Adams. I wrote about him in my Under the Radar players. He's a lot better. If he didn't have the knee history that he had at Notre Dame, he would have been drafted. But he's playing okay for them. I think that, when you watch him, he's a big, tall guy. He's one of those guys, too, when you watched at Notre Dame, he was able he had a lot of long runs. I mean, 30-yard plus runs. Give him the ball inside, boom, he hits it, second level, he's gone. And you're thinking, man, he looks big, slow, knee brace, but he's running away from people. So I think they're pretty happy about getting a college free agent there off the streets. Kid, I don't know where he's from originally, but went to school at Notre Dame. Looks like a nice player. Looked like a nice player on tape. Smallwood's a guy that started the Jacksonville game when they were playing in London. That's the last time they played. So, and then Clement they bring in as kind of a I want to call it a change of pace guy, but he'll get some carries. This is an offense that plays college offense basically plays sideways. When their handoffs, a lot of their stuff is sideways. Occasionally they'll run like a toss sweep and things like that, but they're really more of an inside handoff read and then make that adjustment as they're going up the field.
Adams averaging 5.4 carries, so he's had some longer deals, and then they're getting healthier with Peters is back out there, Corey Graham, their safety's back out.
Lane Johnson is banged up,
sprained knee, but he basically said, "This is the Cowboys, and I'm playing."
Yeah,
I don't like those guys.
Yeah,
so
both their tackles are dealing with something.
Yeah, he's got an MCL, I think. So he
in the Jacksonville game he got rolled up on pretty good. They got a sack on the play, and Carson Wentz happened to fall right into the back of his legs, and then Calais Campbell just drove him over the top of Carson Wentz, and that affected the way they've had some trouble. They've had to move some guys around. This Stefan Wisniewski, their guard. He's been having to play. He played a little center. He's been a backup. Isaac Suomalo is a guy that they drafted in the third round from 2016. He's been the starter. He's number 73. So they've had to move some guys around. When Johnson got hurt, guys were moving from guard to tackle and stuff like that. So just kind of keep an eye on their situation. We talked about them a little bit earlier, and Rob, I don't know, you're probably going to get into them as well. But we talked about this group as being kind of a heavy-footed group, with the exception of Lane Johnson. He's a really good athlete. That's one thing he is.
Former quarterback, right?
Yeah, Kelsey's a good athlete too, but everybody else is pretty much a heavy-footed type of a guy. And so you need to kind of try and take advantage of it. Don't rush down the middle of these cats. Kind of get them on the move a little bit. People have had some success against them rushing the passer and affecting Carson Wentz have been able to play on the move a little bit better against these guys.
Good info. Two more things, Mick.
Jason Kelsey didn't practice, but it's not injury. And Jason Mills looks like he may not make it for this game.
And Jalen Mills?
Jalen Mills. I said, what did I say?
Jason? What did I say with Jalen? What's wrong with Jalen Mills?
He's got a foot injury, and he didn't practice. And what I read was that he may miss this game. And
neither did Sidney Jones, their other corner.
Yeah, their other corner. And we know Ajayi's out. So, they're it's Cowboys week up there. The hatred is coming out left and right.
Are you seeing hatred online or what?
I'm seeing hatred in the newspaper from radio interviews and how this is not a very classy organization that they have to play, and they're arrogant, and we hate their fans, and the players are saying this stuff, right? And
are they?
Go read it. It's amazing.
I haven't read of that.
Go read it. It's amazing. Jenkins is starting because he's got to get himself jacked up to play, and I bet he's disappointed that he doesn't get to play Dez, so they can have their pregame fight all the time. And I
think he's got him next week, though.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
good.
They do.
And then
the Saints and Eagles play next week.
I saw one of their columnists in the Philadelphia Inquirer called it the moribund Cowboys, and I was going, okay, they're one game worse than the Eagles right now.
Hold that thought, because I've got something for you. Maybe after this first break.
We got some sports hate going on here.
Yeah, well, it's funny that the media gets involved in it.
What's wrong with a little rivalry?
No, it's fine. I think it's good. Yeah, but I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't happen from here, right? after you get past the Redskins in the early 90s, you never hear Cowboy players say, God, I hate that school. I hate that team. I hate that city.
Well, we touched on this a little bit 2 weeks ago, Redskins week.
Yeah.
I mean, the player turnover is so drastic now compared to back in the day where, you had the same roster every year in the 80s, even some of the 90s.
But that pertains to them guys. Kelsey was born in, I think he's 31 years old. So he was born in 87. All right?
He was drafted in 2011. So
okay.
Yeah.
He was talking about how you got to hate the Cowboys because of how they acted during the strike. And I'm going, were you born yet? Do you know what happened?
Oh, is he talking about the strike in
87?
In 87, yeah, because when the Cowboys crossed the picket line, like Randy White and all those guys.
Yeah, and he didn't know why.
Yeah.
He wasn't even born.
Yeah.
Or he was, and he was still in diapers. But he heard the stories, and it's like, golly.
Are the players are they influenced by the fan base?
Yes.
The fan base hates the Dallas Cowboys.
So who do the Cowboys hate?
Huh?
Who do the Cowboys hate? Go ask Chidobe Awuzie who he hates.
I don't think players hate anybody.
I don't think players hate each other.
I think players.
No, I mean, which team do they hate?
Oh, well, I think there's a competition with the Eagles. I do think there's a competition with the Eagles.
How many?
Clearly, the Eagles.
Go in that locker room and start asking about guys and see who they hate.
No, you said I didn't. You said
I know, but
team.
the team. I know, but
the team.
I bet they don't. They know numbers mostly. They probably don't even know names.
I think this particular team, this Cowboys team right now, 8 games in, they're more focused on themselves and how they can play better and get out of this hole.
Well, the Eagles should be the same way.
Well, they won the Super Bowl though last year.
So they got rights.
They have bragging rights.
Yeah,
you can let them talk because
they're 4-4, and they lost to the Tennessee Titans too. By the way,
yeah. Are you calling for the dub?
No,
right
I'm
now
not.
On a Thursday?
No,
are you?
Not at all. I'm just
You're
saying
headed that way.
I'm just saying they're 4-4.
Well, that's the problem with this division.
Yeah,
that's why that's why. And again, I said this yesterday. And I said it this morning on the radio on 105.3. I know Mickey's not mad. I think fans out there are mad, and I think I'm mad too, is because, maybe like I say, the expectations were not great, but now I see the division the way it is, and I'm mad that they're not better. That's where I'm going here.
Well,
you understand what I'm saying?
And that's absolutely fair. And
I think fans' expectations initially weren't great, and now you see the division's a mess, and you're like thinking, damn it, I wish we had a better team. Wish we were winning more games.
It would be the same way if the division wasn't a mess.
Think so?
With the fans? Absolutely. The Cowboys are never supposed to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you grew up here. You know that.
Oh, I know that. But, okay. I mean, we didn't lose for 20 years.
Nothing's
Not
changed.
Not a lot.
I hear it every day when they give tours of this place. 20 consecutive winning seasons. The years I was watching the team.
They went to the playoffs like 19 of 20
Oh,
times.
Trust me. I was there every year.
And then the first year I got here, they didn't go to the playoffs.
Maybe you're the
It's
problem.
like, what the hell? You guys told me they go to the playoffs every year.
Maybe it's Mickey. Maybe you're the reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's take our first break, by the way, because along those lines, I got some stats about the Eagles and what they've been through the first 8 games of the season. 888-855-2297 is the number if you want to join the conversation. We'll get to that and Dez Bryant's next destination coming up on Talkin Cowboys.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in 1 lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit. just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving?
Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean. Fish live in there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content...
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Nestle the boys in Tommy John, the softest, most supportive underwear out there. Their featured pocket...
Packed. Yep.
What does that mean? They're feature packed.
Finish the read.
They're feature packed. They're packed with great features.
Oh, they're feature packed.
Keep going.
All right.
It's always a discussion.
And feel
in the middle
amazing.
Of it.
And if you disagree, they're backed by the best pair you'll ever wear, or they're free, guaranteed. Why is it guaranteed twice?
America's
Plus, shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys. I'm going to retire and write some of these things.
That sailboat just veering.
The Nita, the Pina, the Santa Maria.
Swaying that, yes.
We're just looking for land.
Here, give me that. You're never reading that one again. Ever.
They're feature packed.
Feature packed means they're packed with care.
They have amazing features. They're packed with great features. You know, antimicrobial fabrics.
Whoa.
All that. See, I need to be reading these. I really do.
You usually do. Where's Bill Jones doing?
Where's Bill? Where's Bill?
I'm getting rid of that one.
Wow. Okay.
Whoa, okay.
They'll break the TVs over there. Easy. Easy with that.
They are feature packed.
Yeah. All right. Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Does that mean it's a lot of features in them?
I said that 3 times.
Okay.
And so did Brian. Yeah. There you go. Tommy John, buy it. It's awesome. It's great underwear.
They're packed with great features.
Yes, for men and women.
Yes.
Welcome back.
But I do like them.
Talking Cowboys inside the SWBC Mortgage Studio. Cowboys back to practice on a Thursday. A more normal pace practice, we would think, after a light practice on Wednesday. And you guys were talking about the Eagles at 4-4.
The Eagles.
They are second in the NFC East behind, I believe, 5-3 Washington. But, as you point out, Mickey, it has not gone smoothly for the defending Super Bowl champs.
No, it hasn't.
Here's a quote from ESPN's Tim McManus, who covers the Eagles. He wrote this yesterday. If 2017 was like gliding on ice, the first half of this season was like trudging through mud.
Ooh.
And he points out that Philly topped 24 points offensively 12 times last year. So far, once this season. Now, they did get 24 against Jacksonville in a victory before their bye week a couple weeks ago. So maybe they're back on track. Maybe Carson Wentz needs some time to get back into form after the knee injury. But I think, I'm not dismissing the troubles this team has had here in Dallas. We've talked about them ad nauseum, as that's our job. It hasn't been good for the most part. They're 3-5. But if you go up to Philly and hear the pulse of that team, that's a team that's shown some flaws. Now they have a tremendous front defensively. That's probably the strength of their football team.
Right.
You could argue that's the strength of the Cowboys football team as well. In a lot of ways, these teams are similar, although the Eagles do have one more victory, both trying to find something to get going offensively. And by the way, Philly made a trade at the deadline.
They did.
For an accomplished wide receiver, Golden Tate, same way Dallas did, to try to get something going, try to get some juice going for their young quarterback.
Yeah, that's they obviously feel like, though, that offensively their problems have been on that side of the ball. They're a team that, was kind of looking for that playmaker on the outside. I love Alshon Jeffrey, though. I really, really do. He's a guy, I hate playing against him. I mean, I'm not playing, but you get what I'm saying.
Big wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, he goes and gets the football. He's a physical guy. He's going to push on you. He's a bully. I mean, he's a real bully in these games. And they brought Jordan Matthews back. It looks like he's had caught a second wind with his career here with Philadelphia. And then they add Golden Tate. We all know what Golden Tate is. So yeah, this is not going to be fun. This is going to be one of those games where you're playing against an offense that, you said it. Carson Wentz has had problems. He's had problems, being accurate with throws. I feel like Jacksonville got after him pretty good. Minnesota got after him. Carolina got after him. I mean, there's teams that have been able to get after him. Their struggles are a little bit like the Cowboys as well, as far as with their offensive line. And they haven't been real consistent overall, as Mickey pointed out, running the football. But, adding Golden Tate, here's another guy, and you throw Zach Ertz out there as well. They've got some guys that you're going to have to deal with this in the secondary. And what we saw the other day from the Cowboys against Tennessee, can't make you feel great, even though they've played well all year. Maybe it was just a bad weekend for the boys at the office. But, this is the things that scare me, that if they do get protection and then all of a sudden now you're having to cover a bunch of weapons, on the outside, they're very capable of putting up some points that way.
I think Tate makes them more dangerous offensively than they were because, I mean, if you look at the numbers for what they're worth, Zach Ertz, their offense.
Yeah.
He's had 61 catches already.
Right.
61. And the rest of the wide receivers, Aguilar 41, Jeffrey 29.
Yeah.
And Matthews,
but they picked up,
mentioned Matthews 10.
Yeah.
So Tate is going to add some juice to an offense that's very tight end dependent.
It seems like they've got a group now that complements each other well. You mentioned Jeffrey on the outside. Ertz is, they're underneath or, possession type receiver. And now Tate is such a run after catch guy. He's so dangerous that way. I'm trying to think. I wonder if the Cowboys have ever faced a wide receiver, of his caliber 3 times in a regular season before. That's not really ideal.
No, it's not.
It's reality.
It is reality. I mean, you think about, though, too, the numbers too, Mickey, on the Jordan Matthews, they picked him up halfway through the season, or we're at halfway point, but he hasn't been with the club that long. I mean, he's actually had some productive catches. Nelson Aguilar.
Didn't they get rid of him?
Yeah, they did get rid of him, and they brought him back. And like I say, Nelson Aguilar I think he's the one guy that has to be probably the biggest disappointment as you talk about a first-round pick. The last year for the Super Bowl, he did some decent things, but overall, I mean, that hasn't really worked out great for them. As that type of a player. But the thing that bothers me was this just a blip on the radar? Is that the right? I don't know if I said that the right way.
No, that's good.
But the blip on the radar way the Cowboys secondary played last week, or is this a trend now that they're gonna struggle? They're not. I hope it's just a bad game. I just hope it was, because they're about to play some teams. We know this. Just look at the schedule. Their secondary is going to have to be on the screws for them to have some success. If they can hold up in coverage, we've seen what happens when they hold them in coverage. What happens? They get pressure, and they get turnover. They get some fumble. They get fumbles and stuff like that when they get pressure. So I'm just thinking that. All right, hang in there, and hopefully it works out. But I'm starting to have a little bit of some doubts. I hope they prove me wrong about this game this week as far as playing coverage.
Golden Tate, by the way, in 4 career games against the Cowboys, he's caught 18 passes out of 19 targets. There's your stat, Mick.
Yeah,
well, that's wonderful.
For 236 yards. Stat from ESPN. He's been good. I mean, I forget what his stats were in the Detroit game a few weeks ago.
None of their receivers missed a pass in that game.
Yeah. And that was a game where Cheeto, his coverage was above average. It was good.
Yeah.
Just some really good contested catches by Marvin Jones and those guys.
I worry about the tight end here, and I think Dallas is going to treat him like a wide receiver. And when I mean treat him like a wide receiver, I don't see linebackers covering Zach Ertz. I see him being a guy that Xavier Woods is going to be. You know, we've seen Xavier Woods playing coverage last year. I mean, I don't know how in the heck they thought about Xavier. Oh, let's play him in the slot. You know, let's just let him be the nickel corner, and they got away with it. You know, this is a different cat though. But Zach's not a guy that's like your traditional big bully tight end. And I talked about the bully for them. I told you is Jeffrey. But Zach's more of like a smooth route kind of guy, kind of try and get you, kind of get you with movement stuff. He's not going to push off on you and stuff, but he's a good contested ball catcher. So even when you got him covered, he has the ability to make some plays. And that's what worries me in this game. I talk about all the receivers and stuff, but you have to cover him. You have to find a way to limit him. I'm not saying you're not going to take this guy out of the game, but you can't let him have 7 or 8 catches in this game.
So previously they put Byron Jones on him.
Yeah,
Right.
this is going to be.
I wonder, do you mess with your corners and say, okay, you got him?
No,
and Anthony Brown plays cornerback.
No, I think this is Mickey. I do believe they're gonna ride this thing with because we mentioned all the guys at wide receiver.
Right.
You know, you're gonna have to have 2 corners. I mean, you're gonna have to have somebody to cover Jeffrey. You're gonna have to have somebody clearly cover Golden Tate. Matthews, maybe you take your chances on him, but I kind of saw some positive things. I think this is you got to use all your corners for the receivers, and then Zach is going to have to be likely taken care of by Xavier Woods. You know, I don't know if you really want Jeff Heath playing a bunch of coverage in this game, but I guess I will take my chances from what I've seen from Xavier Woods last year playing as a slot corner.
That's where I was going, Mick, is essentially he's been a nickel corner for you before.
Yeah.
So,
I know. Yeah. And they did, and that's kind of how they played a lot of that single safety high with the safety down in this last game against Tennessee.
Right.
The other thing they did against Tennessee is a lot of times when Tennessee went 3 wide, they stayed in their standard defense.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe they hit him at the line of scrimmage with a linebacker.
Yeah.
And then turn him loose to a safety over the top. It would be interesting, but they got to take care of him. You were talking about Tate. Detroit, 8 for 132 and 2 touchdowns against the Cowboys.
Yeah. He had that one play when they were playing dime, if you remember, that Jordan Lewis went over the top of him and then he took off running on that play,
Yes.
the touchdown. It's a play that Jordan Lewis should have tackled for probably a 12, 15-yard gain, and then it turned into a big play.
Fell down out of his
yeah,
break.
He fell.
Yeah, fell. Yeah.
Yeah, he's no question. He's an outstanding wide receiver. Cowboys feel like they've got an outstanding wide receiver. Amari Cooper says he's more comfortable now, 1 game in. Offensively, the question I have for this Cowboys offense right now, and Zeke talked about it yesterday, he pointed out what we did. Time and score and situation, circumstances affected the running game in the second half. They only got 4 possessions. They were in a bad down and distance a lot of times, not through any fault of the running game necessarily.
Except for all the tackles for losses they had.
There were a couple of those, but there were also sacks and penalties that put them way behind.
Yeah. I know, but there was like 6 tackles for losses.
Well, there's where I'm going, though.
Okay.
How do you feel about the Cowboys running game right now based on what you saw for a half with Zeke last week? And
Boy, I thought they were going to load that thing up and go. I really did.
Yeah.
I think the way I always
started off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I see it turns into a 6-yard carry, a 7-yard carry. When they're not just banging their head at the line of scrimmage and getting 1 or 2 yards, and it looks like nobody's blocked. When I always felt like that when Zeke got going early in a game, they were going to have success because they kind of figured out, okay, we can block these guys. And I've said this with this front here that you're about to deal with. I think it's going to have to come on the edges. I think it's going to have to come on the Cowboys' ability to block Michael Bennett and to block Brandon Graham and to block Chris Long when those guys are out there on the edge. Chris Long is a guy that will gamble a little bit. He wants to rush the passer. He wants to get upfield. He's a little bit of a linear built, thin-built guy. I think you can try to bully him a little bit. Use the word bully a lot, but that's what you're going to have to do in this game to win, I think. I just think that it's going to have to come from, especially with they're compromised at guard right now. I mean, they were going to be compromised at guard with Connor Williams in there, having to deal with
from a strength perspective.
Yeah, but Haloti Ngata doesn't move like Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox will play outside the tackle box. Haloti Ngata is more of a stand in there and kind of take things on guy. But I think that if you're saying, okay, we're going to try and get push on the inside, I just think that's a bad recipe. I watched Carolina. I watched Christian McCaffrey. I mean, everything was hitting on the edge. Every really good run that Carolina had was on the edge. I think Dallas has to look at that plan and say, okay, if we could just trap everybody inside, things that they've done, Cowboys can do. I would love to see them get back to running that crack toss. If you remember what we were talking about, get the ball in the, just toss the ball to Zeke. It used to be Noah Brown or it used to be Terrence
Williams on the edge, sealing things.
Get somebody. But, if you could get Tyron Smith, around on the edge, you get the center out on a play. Now you're kind of talking about some good things. And, I don't think that Ronald Darby and if Jalen Mills plays, and matter of fact, I think it's a really good matchup if Jalen Mills, in fact, does play against Cooper. Because I went back and watched the game last year where Mills played against the Raiders and Amari Cooper. And I tell you what, Amari Cooper had a couple of really big plays against them. I mean, he only had two catches, but they were two big plays. I mean, he had a 64-yard touchdown on a double move on Jalen Mills. I think that's kind of stuff you have to do. But running the football, to answer your question, Rob, I think is going to have to come down to blocking Michael Bennett and blocking Brandon Graham and blocking Chris Long when he's in there as well.
And one reason I ask is because historically, Philly doesn't let you run.
They don't.
Or they try as their damnedest to keep you from doing it with consistency.
Right, and it happens to do with Malcolm Jenkins too. Malcolm Jenkins playing down in the box. I mean, they try it. They want him. He is a physical player down there. A lot like with you when you play the Giants, you have to deal with Landon Collins, the same kind of player. Maybe to the point of what the Redskins did with Swearinger. They got to look at that game plan. Jim Schwartz has to look at the game plan that what the Washington Redskins did because he's got similar big inside players. He's got to say, okay, if I could play the run this way, maybe I could hold up in the secondary. But Amari Cooper makes it a little bit different for him now. See that Greg Minuski didn't have to deal with Amari Cooper.
Right.
Jim Schwartz has to deal with Amari Cooper now.
So they've only faced 150 run attempts. Is that because people just give up?
I think it is. I think a lot of it is.
Because I figured out the average run attempts in the league at this point is 213.
Right.
The average. They've only had 150.
Yeah.
But they're 25th against the pass. Mm-hmm. So is it easier to pass against them and people just give up on the run? Or do people just not run against them because they're too easy to pass against?
I think the passing part of it comes into play here. I really, really do. I think there's, I respect Mills and Darby. I really do. But I think that the last couple of weeks I've said, hey, the way to beat teams, first down, passer rating against Tennessee on first down before the game last week was 113. That was quarterbacks had a rating of 113 passing against Tennessee on first down. I thought that might have been the way to travel in that game.
Well, maybe that's why they passed more on first down than they ran in the game then.
Yeah. I
don't know if they were successful. But.
Yeah, that's the problem. If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna play the trends, you got to be successful playing the trends. You got to make people pay for it. If they're bad in the secondary, you got to make them pay for that, for being bad. But I think that I don't think that they could give up on the run. I just don't. But I think that they're going to have to think about it on the edge. I keep saying that because when you watch the tape, that's where people have had success, and I'm surprised more people haven't tried to do it.
I forgot to send that stat to Boog, too.
McFarland?
Yeah.
What stat?
That they threw the ball more on first down than they ran it because he was chomping at the bit about they got to quit running so much on first down. They got to throw it.
Well, that's what I think fans get upset with this team when they feel that. When they feel like they get in 12 and 13 personnel and run on first down. And that was a staple of this offense for a long time because they get
it has been for recent years.
2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. Those are good down and distances to be in.
Yep. So there was a sequence in one of Garrett's press conferences. I can't remember, and it was about throwing the ball more on first down. And then the next question was, why didn't Zeke touch the ball as much?
Yeah.
And it's like, help me.
Yeah.
You need 80 plays to be able to do both, right?
Well,
yeah, I hear you. But
if you want him to throw more, but then you want to know why Zeke didn't touch the ball more.
I'm not comparing anything to 2016. That's in the past. But I will say, a lot of times back then, they would run on first and second down and just get you into 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
3rd and 2. And hell, they might run on 3rd down too.
Yeah.
And then give Zeke a break for a series because that's how effective they were controlling the line of scrimmage.
They were. It was a lot different way of playing football. If they could be good at one thing for this game, what would you want them to be good at offensively? If you could say, geez, I just wish they could be good at this one thing.
Well, that's why I asked about the running game. I think they've got to be able to establish that a little bit and not get Dak in this 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 7 and all that kind of stuff.
Look, it comes down to the offensive line. If they're going to have a good running game, the offensive line has to play well. If they're going to throw the ball, the offensive line has to play well. And if they don't, then you're going to be there with 17 points and trying to kick a field goal with 5 seconds left to tie the game.
That's if your defense can hold on.
If they can hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can withstand all the things that they can do.
I mean, if you're saying they got to do a good job running the ball, it's not just Zeke.
No.
Right?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Which is kind of funny because when you don't throw the ball well, it's just the quarterback. But when you don't run the ball well, it's not just Zeke. You know? There's another reason why.
Do you think there's something wrong with Zeke? Does he look as quick and nimble?
I think
Did
you see the screen pass?
Yeah.
I think, that was a good play, obviously. And he's done that this season. I think he was dealing with some stuff before the bye.
Talking about, but excuse me, can I follow up, Mickey? Running the ball on the outside. I mean, I want him to run the ball. I want him to run the ball on the edge, but have we seen the breakaway runs that we've seen from him in the past?
I think he had some knee and foot stuff that he was dealing with before the bye that affected him that way. Yes, I do.
Early.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, early. But I didn't notice it in this last game. I thought he was running well until they couldn't run, until they started tackling him behind the line of scrimmage.
You seeing a difference?
No, I was just asking because I haven't seen he's usually great at getting those 10, 12-yard runs. You know, when he's humming along there, you know, it's 6, it's 7, it's 8, it's 10, it's 12. You know, he's usually kind of, that you get that make the first guy miss, and then it's, he extends the run a little bit. I don't know. I'm just questioning if I see the burst anymore. That's what I'm questioning. And if knee and ankle are robbing him of that, then I'll accept that.
You've been pointing out how not having Travis Frederick in there doesn't cut off the linebacker.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you can burst for 5 or 6 yards, but at some point, if no one's blocking the linebacker, you're toast, right?
So this whole problem then with this team, the 3-5 record is not really. It should be pointed at the offensive line.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, I'm asking you.
Nothing ever falls on Zeke's feet. It's always the run game. Well, the pass game falls on the quarterback's feet, but it doesn't. Nothing else affects it, and that's what's. Look, they are not. Look at the toss sweeps he had in this last game. He had a hard time getting to the line of scrimmage. I thought he did a heck of a job getting 4 yards on some of those because there was no hole. There was nothing. But then get him out in space on the screen pass and look at him go.
Got some good blocks out there, too.
Yeah. He had 2 guys out there blocking. It makes a difference. So, and I agree with you, and I've been saying it. They run better to the outside than they do up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Travis Frederick's not there. Looney's playing great, right? Great for Joe Looney, but not great as Travis Frederick.
Yeah.
Always good to get your best player going any way you can. Let's take our final break, our second break. When we come back, I teased Dez Bryant, and we're going to get to Dez Bryant going to the New Orleans Saints.
Nice to tease Dez.
Next on Talkin Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper Soft Coolers at OtterBox.com.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Read it.
No, you read.
Want to use what the pros use? Jack Black is the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys. Get your Jack Black Playmaker 4 JB faves plus a full-size lip balm for just $10 with free shipping at getjackblack.com. Use code Cowboys. I just don't think a lot of the players, he didn't like the Cowboy players.
Jason Kelsey, the quote on Good Morning Football just now.
Yeah.
You're a distractible player.
No,
I'm TV right now.
I observe things. I notice things. Nothing gets by me.
Okay. Except that first read.
Yeah.
I won't worry about that.
Hey, by the way, Big 12 Championship returns to AT&T Stadium on December 1st. Be there when the top 2 football teams in the Big 12 Conference face off to become the conference champion. Bill's not here, so I'm not going to mention any specific teams. We'll just see the top 2 teams there when it's time.
You know, it's funny, yeah, and it might be the top 2 teams playing back-to-back weekends. Wonder if they're both going to rest their starters to get ready for the championship game.
That would be interesting. Get your tickets now at SeatGeek.com, the official ticketing provider of AT&T Stadium.
You think both teams will have it sewed up so the last one doesn't matter?
Don't really want to lose any game, though, right? If you still got a shot at the top 4.
There's some tough games left for West Virginia. They haven't exactly proved to be, you know, they could be a little bit up and down. I love what Holgerson did, though, going for 2.
Did you see?
Yes.
They caught him on camera. A lot of players really like the franchise, the organization, and what it stands for. What do the Cowboys stand for?
I think that he hates the fact that this organization has had success for a long time. They haven't had a great deal of Super Bowl success in the last 25 years, but
he's from Texas too. He wasn't a Cowboy fan. He said,
yeah.
Maybe they think they deserve more attention because they're the champs right now.
Well, it's on Sunday Night Football.
Whatever. Yeah, Cowboys are playing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they have gotten their due, but the Cowboys are always in the news.
I don't agree about the part he said to bandwagon fans, though.
No, I don't.
I don't either because trust me, you know. And I worked at Philadelphia for a year. I saw Cowboy fans up there. I never admitted I was from Dallas because you thought somebody would, you know, do something evil to you. But I would, you know, I appreciate. I tell you what, when I don't go on the road anymore. You guys know that. But the one thing that I was always proud of was seeing fans show up at the hotel and show up at the games. That part of it, I appreciate. It's not easy to go to a game at Philadelphia and be a Cowboys fan.
They just don't dress right.
It's not. It's not easy.
It's not a jersey on.
Yeah, it's not easy to go to Washington or go to New York or go to any of these places. You know, you really it's a tough thing to deal with. And you know, I've always admired the fans that have gone and travel and live in those places. You know, and still have their fandom, even though it's been it's been few and far between when you talk about playoff success and Super Bowls.
That's where I was going. I mean, they're patient and they're still hoping for that. And
well, they have their moments too. I mean, I just think that sometimes we're not realistic. You know, that's the thing that I include myself in not being really realistic at times as well.
Whatever players need to say within reason to pump themselves up for a game, I don't. It doesn't bother me.
I just think it's humorous.
Yeah, it makes for headlines, right?
Yeah,
it's probably gonna get some ratings.
I'm sure NBC's loving it.
Absolutely. All right. Are you loving Dez Bryant to the Saints?
Yeah, good for him.
Think it's a good fit?
I think it's a great fit since if you look at their numbers at the receiving corps. With Ted Ginn Jr. on IR, Michael Thomas leads the team with 70 catches. The next wide receiver, the next highest total of catches by a wide receiver is 12. And then it's 9.
Yeah.
So they've been relying, they are where they are because of Michael Thomas and, by the way, some guy named Kamara.
Yeah.
He's their second receiver.
He's their second receiver. Yeah. He's their lead runner. You just name it, he does it for them. But they didn't have a second guy to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Sean looked at it and go, well, how's this going to hurt? I can do something with Dez. I bet he can catch 5 passes in a game.
This is going to be his Marcus Colston. This is going to be. Remember, Marcus Colston played big body guy, couldn't really run all that well.
7th round draft pick.
Yeah. I mean, but a guy that was a nightmare to have to deal with, especially in the middle of the field.
Had a really good career there.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy. Dez is going to play in the slot, and he's going to run routes up in the middle of the field. He's not going to have to do anything on the outside. He's just going to be able to work the middle of the field. And that's where Dez is really good. Dez is good when he can turn, face the quarterback, let the ball get to him and go get it. And that's what Marcus Colston did. Marcus Colston was a first down machine. When it came, Drew Brees drop back, look over the top of that rush and fit the ball right over the top of the linebackers right in front of the safeties, and Marcus Colston take the ball, run him another 5 yards, and get tackled right there. That's what Dez Bryant's going to do for this team. He's going to be a Marcus Colston player, and he's going to wear out the middle of the field. I promise you that's what he's going to do.
Well, he may need a GPS.
What does that mean?
So he knows where he's going.
Well, it's not that hard to run to the middle of the field.
Well, remember the interception last year when he ran to the middle of the field, turned around, Dak threw him the ball, and just as Dak threw the ball, he took off and it ended up getting tipped for an interception?
Yeah.
He's got to learn to do it.
He will. I have, this to me, this is a good fit. You guys mentioned it. I didn't know all the numbers. I didn't know the next best guy had 12 catches. But I promise you Dez Bryant will get 3, 4, 5 catches a game. I think he will. I think they'll figure out ways to use him.
Just get the ball in his hands and let him run.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to tackle him if he indeed is in shape and ready to go.
Said he wanted to lose about 5 more pounds. That's what they're talking about. But the workout was really good from what I heard.
Crawford said he was in great shape. He'd seen him 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yep. And at the Drake concert.
The Drake concert.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, the guys here were happy for him.
They were.
I don't know if the DBs are happy. They're going to have to cover him now.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're excited for him, but you got to play him in 3 weeks.
Yeah, you have bigger problems than that.
That's why I saved this to the last segment. You got to focus on the Eagles right now.
You better stop Kamara. He's the one thing that really makes that thing go. His ability to run, the catch, out of the backfield. That's hard to deal with a back that's that special.
How long did he last in the draft?
3rd round.
3rd round.
You watch him play at Tennessee.
I did.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Maybe Alvin Kamara's best trait at Tennessee was his ability to finish runs. He was a physical player. And then what they like to do though is they threw him on those Texas routes where you angle out, then come back to the middle, and you just kind of dump it to him. Tennessee, they had the quarterback that's now at Pittsburgh, and I'm for the life of me, it's escaping. He's a kid that he's NASA educated. He's the backup at Pittsburgh Steelers right now. But anyway, he would just throw him throw him those underneath routes and stuff like that, and it was incredible. I mean, he'd make the catch, or you hand him the ball inside, on the option plays, and he was just finishing runs.
What do you think people didn't like about him?
His short.
Because he's small?
Yeah, he's short. That's the people were kind of thinking that he was a short. And Tennessee offensively though wasn't the most dynamic offense to watch play. They struggled. They really. But God, I wish I could think. I see that kid's face.
Not Kelly, right?
No, Kent. Are you there with me? Yeah, Steelers backup quarterback.
They have Mason Rudolph and Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs
from Tennessee.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks.
Yeah. He's going to be like an astronaut.
Yeah,
or something,
he's
or
an
aerospace engineer. Or something.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I played a couple games without a helmet, and I can't remember things like I once did.
Elvin Harper said that last night.
That's right.
Yeah.
We talked to him at the combine.
Yeah. He's a short guy,
really sharp kid.
Exactly.
By the way, Saints, Cameron Meredith, wide receiver, is going on IR according to ESPN. So they had a spot for Dez.
Well, he was the third guy with catches.
Yeah.
Not Saquon Barkley. What was the guy's name? It was Trey.
We're doing great radio right now.
Never mind.
You think Dez was waiting for this exact opportunity, or to play with a Drew Brees? I mean,
I think Dez is a very prideful guy, and I think Dez wanted to be in great shape. And maybe he started working. We started seeing the videos and stuff of him working with speed coaches and working on his routes, his footwork and stuff like that. I think Dez was very conscious of that. I think he wanted to make sure that that I'm ready to go. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to be productive. And yeah, I think talking about with Sean Payton a little bit last night, 2 nights ago, he was very happy. I mean, he's happy about having the opportunity. He was waiting for the right opportunity as well. That's the great thing. You could be 7-1 and still trying to add players. Still try to add players. So I think that's a credit if you're rolling along and you're not afraid. And Mickey's talking about the numbers, and you got guys going on IR. Why not? They brought in Brandon Marshall to work. Brandon Marshall's been with the team all year. I think it says something about Dez Bryant, but it also says about Sean Payton wanting this to work.
Eli Apple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He gave away a first-round pick in this year's draft to move up to get Davenport, the defensive end.
Right.
I mean, that's what you got to do. If you're a good team, you got to keep making moves. Even if you're a bad team, keep making moves.
So what the Cowboys are doing here, Philly with Ajayi last year.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep making moves. You just can't sit there and let people pass you by.
Well, we'll find out which bye-week move paid off most for the Cowboys or Eagles on Sunday. That's it, Mick. Any parting thoughts? No, I'm not going to let you do that. We got to go.
I was trying to remember that receiver's name. It's killing me. Traquan Smith, maybe?
Yes, from Central Florida.
He was a rookie, right?
Right, yeah.
That was the guy.
Okay, there you go. We got that out of the way. Thanks to Kent and William for producing. Thanks to Brian and Mickey, as always.
I wasn't hit in the head.
Yeah, but you're throwing stuff. Stop throwing stuff in studio. We'll have Bill Jones back tomorrow to give our final predictions for Cowboys-Eagles. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?